back again. I can't believe we just read through all this. It's now time for our last 2 chapters. Chapter 9, Lakota School. Jack felt Teddy licking his cheek. He opened his eyes. Gray light came through the smoke hole. The fire was out. The teepee was empty. Jack jumped up. He grabbed his bag and hurried outside with Teddy. In the cool light before dawn, everyone was taking down their teepees. They were loading them into the wooden platforms strapped to the 2 poles. The poles were pulled by horses. Grandmother and Black Hawk piled tools and clothes into their platform. Annie stuffed buffalo meat into a rawhide bag. "What's happening?" Jack asked. "It's time to follow the buffalo," said Grandmother. "We will camp somewhere else for a few weeks." Jack pulled out his notebook. He still had many questions, but he tried to choose just a few. "Can you camp anywhere?" he asked. "Even when you don't own the land?" Black Hawk laughed. "People cannot own land," he said. "The land belongs to the Great Spirit." Jack wrote in his notebook, "Land owned by the Great Spirit, not people." "What about school?" said Jack. "Don't you have to go to school?" "What is school?" said Black Hawk. "It's a place where kids go to learn things," Jack explained. Black Hawk laughed again. "There is not one place to learn," he said. "In camp, we learn to make clothes, tools, and teepees. On the plains, we learn to ride and hunt. We look at the sky and learn courage from the eagle." Jack wrote, "Lakota School is everywhere." Grandmother turned to Jack and Annie. Will you walk with us towards the sunset?" she asked. Jack shook his head. "We have to go the other way," he said, "towards the sunrise." "Thank you for the eagle feather," said Annie. "Let your thoughts rise as high as the feather," said Grandmother. "It is a good medicine." "What does that mean?" Jack asked. "Good medicine." "Good medicine connects you with the world of the spirits," she said. Jack nodded, but he still didn't really understand. "Goodbye, Buffalo Girl and Rides Like Wind," said Grandmother. "We wish you a safe journey." Jack and Annie waved. Then they started walking back the way they'd come. Teddy ran ahead of them. At the top of the rise, they looked back. Grandmother, Black Hawk, and the rest of the tribe were watching. Jack and Annie both held up 2 fingers for friend. They took off down the slope. They ran across the prairie through the tall and whispering grass, all the way back to the treehouse. Annie put Teddy in the leather bag. She and Jack climbed up the rope ladder. They looked out the window one last time. The ocean of grass was golden in the early light. By now the Lakota were walking west. Jack thought. "Soon everything will change," he said sadly. "The buffalo will vanish. The old ways and the life of the Lakota will vanish too. But the Great Spirit won't ever vanish," said Annie. "It will always take care of Black Hawk's people." Jack smiled. Annie's words made him feel better. "Arf, arf," Teddy barked, as if to say, "Let's go." Okay, said Jack. He picked up the Pennsylvania book and pointed at the picture of Frog Creek. "I wish we could go home to our people," he said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Now I'm going to read chapter 5 in just a moment, but I want to go back to this idea that school is everywhere. And that has never been more true than it is now. Well, I mean, it might have been truer for the Lakota people, but for us, this is really an important message given all that we've gone through in the last few months. It is not easy learning from home. I think we can all agree on that. Why can't I find that bit? Oh, I was in the wrong area. Anyway, we've been learning from home, and that's not easy. It's a lot harder, and because it's hard, even for me, it's hard to keep myself focused when I'm not in school. It's hard to make myself do things when the couch and TV are around all the time. But we can do this. We can learn anywhere. We can use the tools we have. We can gather anywhere, just like I'm sending these videos. There's ways to make this happen. It may be hard, it may not be fun, but we can do it. We can still learn together. Now, don't get me wrong. I still hope we all are back at school together very, very soon. But it's important to realize that even back then they knew, and we know now, that we can learn anywhere and everywhere. Chapter 10, Good Medicine. "We're home," said Annie. Bright sunlight flooded the treehouse. Teddy licked Jack and Annie's faces. They were back in their jeans and t-shirts. "Hey, silly," Annie said to the dog. "Now we have the second thing to help free you from your spell." She took the eagle feather out of Jack's backpack. She put it on Morgan's note next to the silver pocket watch from the Titanic. "Now we have our gift from the Prairie Blue," said Jack. "Let your thoughts rise as high as this feather." "Hey, I just had a thought," said Annie. "What?" said Jack. "I bet Teddy had something to do with the white buffalo woman," she said. "Why?" said Jack. "1 second Teddy disappeared in the grass, then the white buffalo woman appeared," said Annie. "When the white buffalo woman disappeared, Teddy appeared." Said Jack. He stared at the little dog. Teddy tilted his head and gave Jack a wise look. "Well," said Jack, "maybe Teddy has good medicine." "Now you understand," said Annie, smiling. "Jack! Annie!" A call came from the distance. Jack and Annie looked out the window of the treehouse. Their mom and their grandmother were standing on their porch. "Yay! Grandmother's here!" said Annie. "We're coming!" they shouted together. "Let's put Teddy in your backpack," said Annie, "so we can take him home with us this time." "Okay," said Jack. But when they turned around, the little dog was gone. "Teddy?" said Annie. There was no sign of him. "Oh, man, as soon as we turn our backs, he slipped away," said Jack. "Just like the last time." "Don't worry," said Annie. He'll find us again soon. I'm sure of it." She started down the rope ladder. Jack grabbed his pack and followed. As they started for home, a wind gusted through the trees. Jack stopped for a moment and looked at the woods. Branches waved their leaves. Birds left the branches and swooped up into the blue sky. Black Hawk's grandmother is right, he thought. All things are related. "Jack!" called Annie. "Coming!" said Jack. He hurried to catch up with her. Together they ran out of the Frog Creek woods, up the street, and into their own grandmother's arms. Sometimes nothing feels better than a hug from someone you love. But that is the end of the story. I liked that one. It was nice and kind of like I didn't get really nervous or worried. It was just a nice, happy story. I liked it. So next week we're reading Tigers at Twilight. Tigers in trouble? That's what Annie and Jack find when the Magic Treehouse whisks them and Teddy and the enchanted dog to a forest in India. The rare tigers are being trapped by the greedy poachers. Can Jack and Annie find a way to help, or will the fierce tiger eat them instead? We'll find out next week. But not next week. We'll find out tomorrow. I'm so used to reading one a week. I'm not so used to them being the next book we're going to read. I hope you're having a good Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday. Sorry. It's hard for me to remember days when we're not in school. I definitely cannot wait to get back. But I miss you all. I hope you're having a great day. Like I said, I keep hoping that you like me reading these in one day. If you ever have any comments, you can definitely have your parents add them to Facebook or not YouTube, because I make it for kids so that we don't have inappropriate comments. But anyway, I hope you are having a wonderful week. Bye-bye.